So I have one question for you guys before to start is who in the room like Drake? Raise your hand. Okay. So you all like Drake, but you might not know that he could be the best advisor for your startup. And that's going to be my presentation. As mentioned by Alex, I'm the co-founder and CEO of SlimCut Media. We put this little video advertising in the middle of website. We work with the majority of the Canadian publishers, so media company like National Post, Globe and Mail, Toronto Star, etc. We also have a client in the US, such as like Vice News, that I'm sure everyone loves here. We do too. And Warner, etc. So we got all that great traction following different rules and following different advice. And when I start listening to Drake, I have to admit very recently, I discovered that he could have been that great advisor. So let's jump into it. First advice. Started from the bottom. So the news is that what I think he meant is starting by the end. So if you guys have like an idea or even a minimum viable product, instead of continuing spending a lot of time developing it, spending a lot of time trying to really fine-tune it, start by the end, by the bottom, and go see your end user, go see your clients, so that he's going to give you valuable feedback, and you're going to be able to fine-tune this product to really answer what his needs is. So that was advice number one. Advice number two. It's hard to do the things alone. So what he meant here is that it is hard to do the things alone, but it's even harder to do them without a good co-founder. So you do need to find your good co-founder. How do you find it? Well, it's probably someone you would like to marry or someone you are okay to have fight with. But more importantly, whenever you are at the very beginning of the process, when you're still a very small company, you need to decide who does what and what is actually going to be the decision-making process. And the reason it's important is because there is a limitation in what you can do when you become a big company in terms of let's take all the decision together. At one point, you need to save time, you need to go faster. So right at the beginning, choose who is going to be clearly the CEO, the CMO, the CFO, etc., etc. Advice number three. My actions been louder than my word. This one is interesting as well because we are in the startup environment, everyone is cool, everyone is celebrating success. And we should celebrate success like at a fantastic event like today. But it's okay also to have issues, it's also okay to have problems. We all have. But at that point, you need to stay honest, to stay true to yourself. What hopefully Drake meant by that is that ultimately you want to be very honest and deliver on what you have promised to deliver and never exaggerate and always being true to yourself. Number four, I got a lot of people trying to drain me of my energy. So yeah, it's for Toronto. This one is actually interesting because you're going to get like a lot of networking opportunity as a founder. You're going to get a lot of media opportunity. You're going to get a lot of advisor, maybe even from your community. The issue of that is that it's in the same time key for the development of your company, but more importantly are like the focus that you can have on your sales, on your user acquisition, on your revenue. Because ultimately you can be on the cover of BetaClick, TechCrunch, or the Toronto Star as much as you want. What's going to matter at the end is really the success of your company in terms of sales, revenue, or user acquisition. So stay focused, it's probably what Drake meant. Last advice, YOLO. And this one is key as well because, you are all really lucky. We are all very, very lucky because we are part of that fantastic community of tech that is innovating. You are all part of new opportunities. You are part of creation of something. And there's tons of people in the world or in Toronto that would be dreaming about being in your shoes. So it's not that much about the achievement. It's more about the journey. So just, you only live once, so just enjoy as much as you can this journey. Can I do the mic drop stuff or not? Go for it. You gotta pay for the mic. We're gonna take some questions. Okay, so we're gonna take some questions.
In a time of trouble, who's the one person you would call on a cell phone?
I think my son is named Jules, and I probably will call him actually, because he's really the only one that like calm me down, and often he's giving very good advice.
So, as the founder of an enterprise, what has been your greatest difficulty and how did you overcome it?
I think, like, to come back to the first Drake advice about starting from the bottom, is usually like client acquisition, and how do you get starting from nothing, from no clients? Because once you get traction, once you get a few clients, and if you're doing a good job, usually you get more. But getting the first one is always the hardest. So to the point of the advice is that you never start as early. You can start really, really early, right when you had, like, I remember we had just a few slides and we went to see some of our first clients to make sure that we were on the good path. So definitely starting from the bottom.
You mentioned the importance of an MVP to validate the idea before you invest too much. What size of a user group would you recommend for a minimum beta test?
Oh, I'm not an app expert, if it's what you mean. It can be as small as one, to be honest, because for us, we had only one publisher at the beginning, and it was enough to, because usually if it's interest one, in B2B at least like us, if it interests one company, there's a chance that it's going to interest more. For an app, to be honest, I'm not the right person to answer. Maybe the other company we can. Thank you. Thank you very much.